Thank you for gathering in this place to participate what promises to be a very thoughtful event, commemorating a significant historical moment in the history of Wilmington, Fluvanna County, Virginia, and our nation. On this day, 200 years ago, the community of Wilmington and Fluvanna County hosted a historical remembrance to greet, feed, to entertain, and to thank a great American hero who was, in fact, not an American, but a French nobleman who played a vital role in our struggle to cast off the yoke of the then British monarchy and oligarchy. His name was Lafayette. Lafayette risked, he was a nobleman, he risked his life, his reputation, his fortune, and social standing to offer his youth, his talent, his intellect, and his military acumen to assist in our struggle for independence. Today, I am honored to have been selected to help commemorate and coordinate the dedication of a special Lafayette Park here in the village of Wilmington, and then to subsequently assist in the recounting of some of what happened 200 years ago with food and with entertainment. Assisting today in our presentation are four gentlemen, who will give some comments regarding the marker, the individuals. I will introduce each of you, and I'll have them raise their hands so you'll know who they are. John Michael Sheridan, representative from Columbia District. He's also a cousin of mine through the Hollands. I will say he's a distant cousin only when I disagree with him. Marvin Morse, who also served in this for many years as a representative from Columbia District, and he's not a cousin, but he's a friend. And he is also the president of our Historical Society. And then Julian Isher, who is a representative from the Lafayette Trail and William Pomeroy Foundation. He'll be giving us some comments. And then, last but not least, William Corey. Wayne Corey. I knew he was William in previous life. Okay. Fair enough. Okay. Wayne Corey. I stand corrected. Okay. Who's the current owner and steward of this particular property, known as the Wilmington House of Curran Tavern. Now we're going to have a history lesson. We're going to review a little bit of what happened here 200 years ago. The then president 200 years ago was James Monroe. He invited Lafayette to a grand commemorative event, a tour of the United States, which was more than just the 13 original colonies, but was also the 24 states. He arrived in New York, went to Washington, D.C., and all these places, in all these events, he was entertained royally. He caught a steamboat in Alexandria, went downstream on the Potomac to Mount Vernon, where he visited the grave of his good friend and mentor, George Washington. After that sad event, he went on to move by steamboat to Yorktown, where he was remembered for that vital battle in our struggle against the British tyranny. He was there met by a Fluvannian, one of our great leaders here, John Hartwell Cox, who invited him to visit a couple of towns in Fluvanna County on his way from Yorktown to Monticello to spend 2 weeks with the aging Thomas Jefferson. He left Yorktown, went up the James River, landed at Rocket's Landing in Richmond, went on horseback to Goochland Courthouse, came from Goochland Courthouse to Columbia. So he arrived in Columbia on horseback, and there he was greeted, fed, entertained by a number of Fluvanna residents. When he was greeted in Columbia, he was greeted primarily by John Hartwell Cox and the Reverend Walter Timberlake. He was fed a grand meal at Mrs. Lee's Tavern. I remember that building. It was a grand brick building which was taken down in the 50s. It was a grand brick building on the main street in Columbia. He was entertained by evidently a remarkable pianist Ms. Anna Payne. It's Payne, P-A-Y-N-E, not P-A-I-N. At Columbia, they left by carriage provided by John Hurt McCock and came here to Wilmington. When he arrived in Wilmington, he was toasted, entertained, lodged overnight before moving to going on to Board Tavern where he rested, and spent 2 weeks in with Thomas Jefferson. Since there were 2 taverns in Wilmington, Wilmington House or Corin's Tavern or Cole's Tavern here, there was a lot of entertaining that was done. Things are purported to become a bit raucous. As a matter of fact, some of the ladies got a carriage and left and went to spend the night in Carey's Brook. I think a lot of that information, the details have been deleted. So that's a brief summary of Lafayette's Fluvanna history. But the impact of this extraordinary man, this Frenchman in our nation's history, is amazing. He was a colleague, a close friend, an aide to George Washington. He distinguished himself in the battlefield with what was then a somewhat ragtag collection of colonial militias. He was involvement in the central battle success at the Battle of Yorktown, defeating the British. And that defeat was the final nail in the coffin of British control, the British tyranny in the 13 original American colonies. He was not only a military man, but he was also a diplomat. He served as a diplomat interfacing with European powers to obtain allies and financial support from France and other nations, which was important in the War of 1812. And he also provided ideological guidance for our fledgling nation. He is the man, Lafayette is the man we commemorate today. This marker will help remind us of his contributions to our nation. A little bit about me before these other guys go on. I am Randolph Lanford, but people know me as Randy. I usually wear a stethoscope, not this cravat thing. I've been a physician here in the county, a primary care physician for 45 years, and my family has been in this area, as has Mike, since mid-1700s. I am honored to be a part of this this event. So I'm now going to turn the event over to
First of all, thank you, Randy. I appreciate the opportunity to be here, and I'm very thankful to be here representing the citizens of the district, the Columbia District, and the Board of Supervisors here in Fluvanna County. It is with deep appreciation and gratitude that we humbly accept this historical marker, and I would like to thank those who have worked so diligently to get these things accomplished and get these set up. I know of 3 of them now. The one in Columbia, the one here that will be unveiling here in a second, and then there's one at Boyd's Tavern. I drove by it the other day in the driver's ed car. It is with deep gratitude. I know how hard you folks have worked, and these are the types of things that we need to be celebrating. When you get to talk about a living hero, we talk about Cornwallis' surrender at Yorktown. He started retreating from North Carolina, and I found this out when I drove the Fluvanna Leadership Development class. His eastward retreat, however, started when he went to go capture Thomas Jefferson, and General Lafayette with the militia from Albemarle and Fluvanna stood on the hill right there at the county line and said, I don't think so, buddy. You got to turn on around. And then it went downhill from there. So it is with deep gratitude that I get to say thank you for everyone in Fluvanna County. Thank you.
Everybody, I'm Marvin Moss, President of the Fluvanna Historical Society. It's great to be here to honor the Marquis de Lafayette. One of the things that was his greatest achievement, I think, imagine a young man, 16 years old, being exiled for a variety of reasons from his own country, France, and coming to a country undergoing a revolutionary war. And at the age of 17, becoming a general in the army of a country where he did not speak the language. That's an achievement, and I think what's unspoken so far today is the role he played with the King of France and with the French government in bringing the French government to the side of the colonials and to the side of the revolutionary forces. It's clear to me that absent that French participation, the Revolutionary War would not have ended the way it did. The French participation was absolutely key to the success of the revolution, and it would not have occurred without the help of the Marquis de Lafayette. So my role is to thank the many people here today. I thank Randy, who is actually today Mr. John Timberlake, and I want to thank the Historical Society and the partnership that's put this day together. There's several sponsoring organizations who planned the event and the celebration that's going to follow to mark this place in a day as important in our history. It takes many hands and hardworking and service sponsors. The Fluvanna 250 Commission, the Fluvanna Economic Development Tourism Advisory Council, the Point of Fork chapter of the Daughters of the American Revolution, and we thank all of you, and we thank all of you for coming out today.
I want to thank everybody for taking some time today of your busy day to come and celebrate the bicentennial of Lafayette's visit to Fluvanna County with us. My name is Julien Hichet. I'm a French national and president of the Lafayette Trail, the organization that donated the plaque that is going to be unveiled in a moment with the financial support of the William G. Palmore Foundation. A couple things that were said 5 minutes ago or so that are to me very incredible to hear. If you listen to what the folks were saying, they were always, every one of them were saying, I am thankful, I am grateful, I'm saying thank you. These are the values that Lafayette thought were infinitely superior in the new world, in this country: honesty, simplicity, humility. And the key for his acceptation by Americans as an insider is that Lafayette, unlike other French aristocrats, understood the culture of the New World and showed a tremendous respect toward its values. I think that was a key feature. These values that Americans demonstrated back then, as you can see from the remarks of the gentleman here, they still exist today. It's part of who you are. And I'm sure Mr. Corey, Wayne Corey, is going to also express gratitude because he's an essential part of this collaboration as well. So Lafayette believed that those manners that Americans had were necessary for successful national revolutions and that they needed to be revered religiously. So this religiosity in American freedom, we are going to celebrate the rest of this event at a church a little later. This is all central to what America remains to this day. And I think it's always fascinating to me that it is a French aristocrat who embodies the values of simplicity, humility, decency. It is absolutely incredible that this man has this continued legacy and is able to draw people like all of you here today, hundreds of people, to commemorate his enduring legacy. So if you look at the papers from 1824 that are talking about his visit here, what's incredible to me is that the people, whether it was in Wilmington or in Columbia, are praising his gallantry. The gallantry of Lafayette is the gallantry of a French aristocrat. So the fact that on this program and everywhere else around the country, Lafayette is called the Marquis de Lafayette. His name was Marie-Joseph Paul-Yves Roch Gilbert Dumotier Marquis de Lafayette. That was his full name. That doesn't necessarily carry the ideas of simplicity and democratic humility, right? But to me it is incredible that when he came here, the United States or the American Revolution illuminated this man, and he developed a political gospel that he will preach. He will preach the greatness of American manners and American society and in the New World for the rest of his life. I think it's deeply humbling for Americans that somebody with the title of a marquis was willing to eulogize the American experiment to a European audience. And he did that no matter what the circumstances and the risks were. I think it's incredible. So we try to honor his faith in the American Revolution and in the American people by putting all these markers around the country. I am proud to say that as of right now, we have donated over 165 of these commemorative markers across 25 states and Washington, D.C. That represents nearly $300,000 historical markers around the United States. We do that, we try to subsidize 100% of our programs. We don't want to charge a penny to honor Lafayette. It's very important to who we are, what we do. And every one of these markers is individualized. It matters to talk about a personalized message that is unique to each of the communities where we donate markers, so that this marker joins a national system of historical markers that talks about what matters to the people here. It's very important. And it's very important that we honor and we dedicate it on the bicentennial, because when the day is over, this marker will stay here to tell the story of this great man, his faith in the American Revolution, and more importantly, in the American people. So I just want to thank, a huge thanks to everybody that made this possible as well. I want to thank Mr. Corey for never putting the red tape between us. He made it very simple for us, and he's always been very supportive of our effort, and I want to thank you infinitely for making it easy for us. I want to thank the Historical Society as well, the county. I want to thank the folks here at the church for hosting such an event. And yes, this man is called the Marquis de Lafayette, but I think you remember him as such because this is a man that gave a dignifying endorsement of the American Revolution at an age when Americans wanted so bad to have a form of endorsement from a European aristocrat, in the sense that it was giving credence to the power of their revolution. I don't think it's an accident that people call him the Marquis de Lafayette to this day. I think you do that because you want to preserve the nobility of his credentials and the power of his endorsement to elevate the quality of your political experiment. So here we are 200 years later. Unlike France, the United States is still regulated by the very same documents from its founding. That's why Lafayette called this country a pure republic. So you have this incredible alliance between liberty and public order. You have a free society that is orderly. That's what always Lafayette wanted to achieve in France. And this country was the example to follow for the rest of the world. And that's why Lafayette preached its greatness no matter what the circumstances were. So as you leave today, just remember there was a man out there in France. His name was Lafayette. He was a French aristocrat. He risked everything to make this country independent because he believed that the example of this country would shine a brighter star and inspire everybody else on earth to achieve the same, to put forward a march of civilization so that mankind everywhere would remain free. Thank you.
On behalf of Wilmington Place and the citizenry of Fluvanna County, to the memory of, say it with me, Marie, Joseph, Paul, Yves, Roche, Gilbert, Dumotier, the Marquis de Lafayette, in honor of his visit to my home, and with the admonition, the stagecoach doesn't stop here anymore, we toast him thusly: Liberté, Égalité, Fraternité. Thank you for coming.
Both Benjamin Franklin, and George Washington said we could not have won that war without him. And true, as you have to understand what he really gave. Besides giving almost his life, he was wounded at one point. He also gave $8 million in today's dollars of his own money to feed and clothe his soldiers. And I computed, unlike anybody else I ever heard, that he actually gave about $35 billion with a B from the French government. He got that. And all those French troops and all those ammunitions and all that sort of thing. It's really important that we understand what this man really did for us. Not only that, it's been hinted at, but he was also in favor of all the rights of both men of all colors and all women. In France, he was behind, he went back to France, and he was also a hero of France, although I'm not sure they always understand that. And he wrote the Declaration of the Rights of Man. And he did it with the help of Thomas Jefferson, Thomas Paine, and several others. It was quite a document, and it's still looked at today and revered. We need to understand what a wonderful man, what a gift he was at this time that this country needed of all times to win this war. And I hope you will go home today with a better appreciation of who Lafayette really was.
Mom, turn.
Before everybody disbands and we go over there, just a minute or two about the design. Lafayette Trail logo, every time you see it, you can know for sure the text on the sign is validated and supported with primary source materials. Newspapers from 1824. Line 1 is always the same, the date and the title general. We don't want to refer to his birthright privileges as a French aristocrat. Instead, we want to honor his military commitment in service of democratic equality in the Continental Army during the Revolutionary War. And then the rest of what we think is essential in the newspaper's accounts, so in this case is that he was entertained, he spent the night, and the next day he went to see Thomas Jefferson at Monticello. The name of our partner at the bottom, William G. Palmore Foundation, the year when the marker was approved, 2024, and the number on our series, 131 out of 165. The markers are two-sided. When I did these events the very first time, I said that they were two-faced. I will never forget it. They are indeed two-sided. They do tell the same story on both sides. That's the only thing. And then the design, blue, white, and red. It's also a way to symbolically honor Lafayette's role at the center of our two national revolutions. And that's about it. So every time you see a sign like that, you can go on the LafayetteTrail.org and see all the installed markers around the country and see how this one speaks with all the other ones around the United States. That's all. Thank you.